Yes, there is a requirement to bond the handrails of a whirlpool or tub in a residence. This requirement is rooted in ensuring electrical safety and minimizing the risk of electrical shock hazards in and around these water-containing fixtures. The primary reason for bonding is to create an equipotential plane. An equipotential plane means that all conductive surfaces within reach of a person are at approximately the same electrical potential. This significantly reduces the likelihood of a dangerous voltage difference between these surfaces, which could cause an electrical shock if someone were to touch two surfaces with different potentials simultaneously. Handrails, being metal and within reach of a person using the whirlpool or tub, are considered conductive surfaces that must be bonded. The National Electrical Code, or NEC, specifically addresses bonding requirements for swimming pools, spas, hot tubs, and similar installations. While the exact wording and section numbers may vary depending on the edition of the NEC being used, the underlying principle remains consistent. All conductive parts within a specified proximity to the water must be bonded together. This includes metal handrails, metal grab bars, metal components of the tub or whirlpool itself, and any other metallic items that could become energized. The bonding is typically achieved by connecting all these conductive parts to a common bonding grid or conductor. This conductor, often a solid copper wire, is then connected to the electrical grounding system of the building. This connection to the grounding system ensures that any stray electrical current is safely diverted back to the source, tripping a circuit breaker or ground fault circuit interrupter, or GFCI, and de-energizing the circuit. The size of the bonding conductor is crucial. The NEC specifies the minimum size of the bonding conductor based on the size of the circuit conductors supplying the whirlpool or tub. This is to ensure that the bonding conductor can effectively carry any fault current it may occur. It is also important to use approved connectors and methods for making bonding connections. The connections must be mechanically strong and electrically conductive to ensure a reliable bond. Improper connections can corrode over time, leading to a loss of conductivity and compromising the effectiveness of the bonding system. Ground fault circuit interrupters, or GFCIs, play a critical role in electrical safety around whirlpools and tubs. A GFCI is a device that detects even small imbalances in the electrical current flowing through a circuit. If the current flowing out differs from the current returning by as little as 5 mA, the GFCI will trip the circuit, cutting off the power almost instantly. This rapid response can prevent a dangerous electrical shock. The NEC requires GFCI protection for all electrical outlets and circuits that serve whirlpools and tubs in residential settings. This includes outlets for the pump motor, heater, and any other electrical components of the fixture. In addition to bonding and GFCI protection, proper grounding is also essential. Grounding provides a low impedance path for fault current to flow back to the source, tripping a circuit breaker or GFCI. The grounding system consists of the grounding electrode conductor, the grounding electrodes, and the equipment grounding conductors. The grounding electrode conductor connects the neutral busbar in the electrical panel to the grounding electrode, which is typically a metal rod driven into the earth or a metal water pipe. The equipment grounding conductors run with the circuit conductors and connect the metal enclosures of electrical equipment to the grounding system. This ensures that any fault current is safely conducted back to the source. When installing or modifying electrical systems around whirlpools and tubs, it is crucial to consult the latest edition of the NEC and any applicable local codes. Local codes may have additional requirements or more stringent standards than the NEC. It is also important to hire a qualified and licensed electrician to perform the work. A qualified electrician has the knowledge, skills, and experience to ensure that the electrical system is installed safely and in accordance with all applicable codes. Bonding requirements extend beyond just the handrails. Any metal parts within 5 feet horizontally and 12 feet vertically from the inside wall of the whirlpool or tub must also be bonded. This includes metal door frames, metal window frames, metal pipes, and any other conductive surfaces that could be touched by someone in or around the water. The intent is to create a zone of equipotentiality, minimizing the risk of electrical shock within this zone. There are specific methods outlined in the NEC for achieving proper bonding. One common method is to use a solid copper bonding conductor, typically number 8 American wire gauge or AUG or larger, to connect all the metal parts together. The bonding conductor must be run in a continuous loop, without any splices or breaks. The ends of the loop are then connected to the grounding system. Another method is to use metal raceways, such as metal conduit, to enclose the electrical wiring. The metal raceway itself can serve as the bonding conductor, provided that it is properly connected to the grounding system and all metal parts are securely bonded to the raceway. It is important to note that simply connecting the metal parts together with a wire is not sufficient. The connections must be made using approved bonding connectors that are designed to provide a low-resistance, corrosion-resistant connection. These connectors typically use screws or bolts to clamp the bonding conductor to the metal part, ensuring a tight and secure connection. The NEC also addresses the bonding of metal fences and other metal structures that are located near whirlpools and tubs. If a metal fence is within 5 feet of the inside wall of the whirlpool or tub, it must be bonded to the grounding system. This is to prevent the fence from becoming energized and posing an electrical shock hazard. Similarly, any other metal structures, such as metal sheds or metal gazebos, that are located near the whirlpool or tub must also be bonded. The bonding requirements for whirlpools and tubs are designed to protect people from electrical shock hazards. By bonding all conductive parts together and connecting them to the grounding system, the risk of a dangerous voltage difference is minimized. This, combined with GFCI protection and proper grounding, provides a comprehensive safety system that can prevent electrical accidents. When installing or maintaining a whirlpool or tub, it is essential to pay close attention to the bonding requirements. Make sure that all metal parts are properly bonded together and connected to the grounding system. Use approved connectors and methods for making bonding connections. And always consult the latest edition of the NEC and any applicable local codes. In addition to the general bonding requirements, there are also specific requirements for bonding the pump motor of a whirlpool or tub. The pump motor must be connected to the grounding system using an equipment grounding conductor. This conductor must be sized according to the size of the circuit conductors supplying the motor. The equipment grounding conductor must be run with the circuit conductors and connected to the motor's grounding terminal. This ensures that any fault current in the motor is safely conducted back to the source, tripping a circuit breaker or GFCI. The NEC also requires that all metal parts of the pump motor be bonded together. This includes the motor housing, the motor shaft, and any other metal components. This is to prevent any voltage differences from developing between these parts, which could pose an electrical shock hazard. The bonding of the pump motor is typically achieved by connecting all the metal parts together with a bonding conductor. The bonding conductor must be sized according to the size of the motor's equipment grounding conductor. The bonding conductor must be run in a continuous loop, without any splices or breaks. The ends of the loop are then connected to the motor's grounding terminal. When installing a whirlpool or tub, it is important to carefully inspect the pump motor and make sure that all metal parts are properly bonded together. If any of the bonding connections are loose or corroded, they should be repaired or replaced immediately. It is also important to make sure that the pump motor is properly grounded. The equipment grounding conductor should be securely connected to the motor's grounding terminal and to the grounding system. In addition to bonding the handrails and the pump motor, it is also important to bond any metal piping that is connected to the whirlpool or tub. This includes metal water pipes, metal drain pipes, and any other metal piping that could come into contact with water. The metal piping must be bonded to the grounding system using a bonding conductor. The bonding conductor must be sized according to the size of the piping. The bonding conductor must be run in a continuous loop, without any splices or breaks. The ends of the loop are then connected to the grounding system. When installing a whirlpool or tub, it is important to carefully inspect the metal piping and make sure that it is properly bonded to the grounding system. If any of the bonding connections are loose or corroded, they should be repaired or replaced immediately. It is also important to make sure that the metal piping is properly supported and secured. This will prevent the piping from vibrating or moving, which could damage the bonding connections. The bonding requirements for whirlpools and tubs are complex and can be difficult to understand. If you are not familiar with electrical codes and practices, it is best to hire a qualified electrician to install or maintain your whirlpool or tub. A qualified electrician will have the knowledge, skills, and experience to ensure that the electrical system is installed safely and in accordance with all applicable codes. They can also help you to identify any potential electrical hazards and to take steps to mitigate them. By following the bonding requirements for whirlpools and tubs, you can help to protect yourself and your family from electrical shock hazards. Remember to always consult the latest edition of the NEC and any applicable local codes before installing or maintaining a whirlpool or tub. And always hire a qualified electrician to perform any electrical work. In summary, the requirements for bonding handrails of whirlpools and tubs in residences are based on the NEC guidelines to mitigate electrical hazards. Firstly, bonding ensures an equipotential plane by connecting all conductive surfaces to the grounding system. Secondly, this minimizes voltage differences and reduces the risk of electrical shock. Thirdly, handrails, being metal and accessible, must be bonded to the bonding grid. Fourthly, the size of the bonding conductor must meet NEC specifications. Fifthly, approved connectors are essential for reliable bonding connections. Sixthly, GFCI protection is required for circuits serving whirlpools and tubs to detect and interrupt small imbalances in current. Seventhly, proper grounding provides a low impedance path for fault current. Eighthly, metal parts within proximity of the tub must also be bonded. Ninthly, bonding methods include using a continuous loop of solid copper wire or metal raceways. Tenthly, always consult the latest edition of the NEC and local codes, and hire a qualified electrician for installation and maintenance to ensure compliance and safety.